Well, the decision is which kayak to take out today, and I think that's going to be our winner. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. So, going to do something a little risky, well, risky for 2025, and that is going out and fishing the California Delta. Yeah, it's been pretty fickle this year. It's been very strange, just not the typical Delta you expect, especially now when it's just about springtime or in the midst of springtime where the fish should be biting. I mean, shoot, I think last year around this time we were getting frog bites, but yeah, this year's just been tough. And other than the team tournament that I did with Nick from the Bass Hookup, I don't think I've actually caught a 5-fish limit from the kayak out on the California Delta. And I've been out there probably 8, 9, 10 times. So yeah, it's been challenging, and that is why I say today is maybe a little bit of a gamble. But as I keep saying, every time we go out on the Delta, I just feel like one of these trips, one of these days, we head out there, it's just gonna click, things are gonna be good, the fishing will be good, and life, fishing will just all make sense again. So with that said, Titan X 10.5 today, gonna be going out to Frank's Tract. You guys have probably seen me fish there a handful of times, a very popular area in the central Delta. Really unique area, vast, lots of tule clumps that these fish could potentially spawn on. And I think the Titan X is the perfect kayak for the situation. Still pretty stable. We're gonna have some wind today, but small, short enough to get into those tight spaces, weave in and out of the tules, and get up shallow where some of these Delta fish lurk. So that's the plan. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but hopefully we're saying a lot of this today. Alright guys, here we go. Let's just get started. Man, I am loving these conditions. A little overcast, little breeze, water temp is 60, almost 62. Feels like a fishy day. Feels fishy. Today we're going to be a believer again in the Delta. I already know it's gonna work. Might as well throw it. There we go. Just trying to get some cheap fish with a wacky. That is a little small, but I'm going to take the bite, guys. You know how the Delta can be. I figured this morning when I launched, saw them up shallow on the bank doing their annual ritual. Power fishing is definitely fun on the Delta, but when there's a lot of fish out here doing that, you really got to slow down and put a soft plastic over their head. Now that's not the one we're looking for, but it is a bite after throwing a bunch of moving stuff early on. Tide is low, which I don't really like. I need it to be a little higher, I think, before we can really get a good bite going on. It's just kind of hard to fish right now. There we go. Oh my gosh. These aren't the ones I saw on the bank this morning, I promise you. Maybe a good sign, though, that there's some biting fish out there. Gotta find the big girls. They're the medium girls. I don't even care. Medium girls are fine. Let me get a fresh one. Fresh one. Let me try something different. A little more flash. Kind of just dinking around near the ramp right now on this lower tide. We're having an incoming tide pretty much all morning, early afternoon. It's kind of a weird tide actually. Not a huge swing, but it is incoming. And all the areas that I am really crossing my fingers on, I'm going to save for when that tide gets a little higher. So probably around 11:30, 12 o'clock. Water right now is still just a little bit too low for me to want to go to those spots. It's too choked up with grass. Not as much water over the bass's heads for them to feel comfortable, in my opinion, to maybe bite. And it's a little too windy, a little too cloudy to do any sight fishing right now. So that's the game plan. Fish around the ramp. Shoot, maybe pick off a good one or two. But I'll take minis. Consider anything right now on this tide bonus fish until we get to about 12 o'clock. Whoopsie daisies. Probably a little micro, but another bite on the old Wacky Gen. Trying to utilize the side scan to see some hard bottom or some clean bottom for that matter. 95% of the stuff out here is just grassed over, just choked full of grass. It's those shallow hard bottom spots that these fish are gonna definitely bed on and spawn and position. We're upgrading. Little upgrade. Alright, so also we know that at the end of the day, coming on in, we can fish by the ramp. Get a few bonus fish maybe. Higher tide, bite should be a little better. If you guys don't have one or didn't know of this, which I'm sure a lot of you do, but I'm telling you, you want to save a lot of worms, you need a Wacky tool. Put that little O-ring on the worm. That worm, most of the time when you get bit, will slide on up the line and you'll save the worm. It won't tear. Remember, like my first couple of years of kayak fishing, I threw a lot of worms, a lot of Senkos, a lot of 5-inch stick baits, and I didn't know about the Wacky tool and the O-rings. And dude, I was going to Bass Pro after every trip buying more Senkos, and it got pretty dang expensive, especially at the time for me. But after I got that Wacky tool and started using O-rings on all the worms, you can use a whole bag for a couple of trips before you have to buy more. Just saving your worms, definitely a must-have for the Wacky Worm. There we go. Easy, buddy. Thank you, sir. It's fun. Just need to grow up a little bit. Still loving the bite. I'll tell you the one thing though, it's a little risky in this situation. The way we're fishing right here, spinning rod, light line. If we do hook into a big one, there's a 50-50 chance we'll land it. A lot of junk that can pull me into here. That's the risk you take. Certain days, especially in the spring when they're on bed, up in the shallows, you're not going to catch them on something moving with big line. Not typically, for me at least. The only way is the little worms and finessey stuff. You get them to bite, you hook into them first, and you worry about getting them out of it later. Bugs are ridiculous right now. Lower deck. There we go. Oh, there's a good one. There's a good one. That's the one we were looking for. Come here, buddy. feisty. All right, there we go. Caught you right there. I bet you that fish was on a bed. Yep, there is a bed right there. Here, perfect timing. Back you go, buddy. Thank you, sir. Starting to slowly creep into the better areas, or what I think are the better areas for potentially some bigger fish. That was a nice welcome surprise. Tide is getting higher. Still a lot of grass though, and that's the tricky thing with the Delta. Every year, areas are just different. Some are chock full of grass that were previously nice, clean, hard bottom, and the opposite can be true too. So it is tricky in a sense, but also kind of cool because everything is different. One of those places, like I've said before, you can't really rely on history just because everything changes so much each year. Oh, there's some better fish over here. Not a giant, but a fun one. Come here, buddy. Man, you are strong. Got some fight in you. Okay, I like that. They're biting today. I mean, worm is definitely going to be, in my opinion, the most productive right now, but as the tide changes, the conditions change, where we fish changes, we'll throw some other stuff, mix in probably the jig, maybe a little spinner baiting. You just figure these fish that I'm catching right now, I mean, what are the odds that they'd hit something moving? I don't know. I think they're on bed, or at least the ones I'm fishing for are on bed. It's been something like a worm that just subtly lands right on top of them, hovers down. It's just too enticing for them to bite. Oop, that one. Probably another micro. Never know though. Could have been a big one just taking it off the bed. No, he was a micro. What are you guys doing? See, that's why I'm so confused in the wintertime. Like, I get why they're not biting, kinda, but, you know, when they are biting, spring, summer, you see so many, like, little tiny bass. It's like, where do those ones go in the winter? How come you can't catch those? Are they just completely shut down, too? I mean, like, you have to be, right? Yeah, it's weird. Wintertime, December, January, I don't even think there's a bass that exists in the Delta. It's like they all go out to the ocean or something, who knows? Weather warms up, they reveal themselves, and you see there is still a lot of fish in the Delta. I would say not a lot of big fish anymore for various reasons, but there's still a lot of fish. Ooh, that one's almost a scupper. That one's almost a scupper release, not quite. Let's see. Is he scupper? Oh, he might make it. I think he is a scupper release. Yep, he is. Scupper fish are not necessarily the ones to be proud of. Hey, but I'm gonna say it still. I mean, any bite out here is a good sign. I feel like even the small ones kind of reflect the mood of some of the better quality fish. So if you're catching small ones, then the better ones are definitely in the mood to eat as well. See, even that one felt like a little dink, but it's still a little better. Hooked you weird. There we go. Thank you, sir. Oh, you broke my worm. It's okay, we got more. It's kind of the one bite of all the baits. You don't know exactly how big your fish is until you actually set into them. All the bites feel the same. It's just a little think. You set back, then that's when you know how big it is or have a better idea. So it is fun. Still a fun way to get bit. You're basically playing the lottery, or you're doing a scratch off. You see that you won the scratch off ticket, and now it's time to reveal the prize, and that's the hook set. Could be the jackpot. You just don't know. There we go. Big one. Oh yeah. Ha! Ah, how? I don't get it. How'd you come up, dude? Ah, that was one of the better ones we were looking for. That's good though. I like that. Good sign. Good ones in the mix are biting. Why did I start moving? That felt like it had some pressure. Ugh. Another bite. Oh, there we go. There's another one. Let's see if I can actually put this one in the boat. Another one. These fish are definitely on bed. Oh, the next tule over. Nice little fish. Yeah, I don't know if it's so much just bite or the mood of the fish. I think it's more so the area. You got to run across a little stretch where they're up on bed, doing their thing. You get little stretches where they're all spawning, and then a bunch of dead water in between. You know what's surprising? These fish are spawning right by the river channel. That's a good one. Yeah, just like I told you, it's a risky proposition fishing for these fish. Oh yeah, you gonna stay on for me, buddy? Gotcha. There we go. I'm surprised the main river's right there and these are fish just kind of off the chute. I always just figured that they don't really want to spawn in so much current. I guess it doesn't matter too much, because I do believe all these fish that we're catching are on bed. Well, we got lucky landing that one, that's for sure. Just another little stretch, right? Another little stretch of fish on bed. If we can run into a few more of those stretches throughout the day, it'll be a pretty solid day of fishing. Oh, got one. Right on that. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Right on that. Oh, I'm going to lose this fish. It's right on that piece of wood. Man, can't even got it. See, this is why we save this stuff for higher tide, because all this stuff first thing when we got on the water would have been just choked full of grass. Couldn't have even fished for them. Now with this water being high, we got some pockets and some holes we can throw the worm in. So plan kind of worked out today. Another thing you got to always throw at, an isolated log or piece of wood that's connected to the bottom. If it's floating, I don't worry about it, but anything that's on the bottom that those fish could spawn on, you gotta throw to it just in case. And kind of got lucky that one bit because I was reeling it back in, but I guess they really wanted that worm. Ooh, we got bigger. Not our giant, but it's a good one. Yep. Big fish of the day. Stay pinned, buddy. There we go. Alrighty. Yeah, good thing I kept pressure on that fish. This hook was not really in him. It's like a little skin hook. And maybe he was in there better than I thought. Beautiful. You know, I'm still waiting on that 5-6 pounder, but catching fish like that, I'm pretty content. Pretty content. Oh no. Second chance. Oh. It's like my last worm. It's not even like put together, but I've got more worms, just not this color. I'm gonna ride her till she's gone, until she's falling apart. Oop, there's another bite right there. Another second chance. Come on, worm, you can do it. I think I got one more fish in this. Then I gotta change. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, do I dare say that was the best day of fishing I've had out on the California Delta all year of 2025. Granted, it's been a pretty tough year out on the Delta, but today was definitely the turning point. I think it was actually the first time in a kayak, at least, I was able to put together a 5-fish limit. Didn't measure them, but I think it's safe to say based on the numbers we caught, we definitely had 5 keepers. But yeah, visiting a popular place, a place that I really like to fish in the spring. Frank's Tract, a very well-known area of the California Delta. You never know what to expect in the spring, especially in the Delta, but when we pulled up, first thing I saw when I was unloading the kayak was fish up shallow on the bank spawning. So right after I saw that, I figured, okay, this is probably going to be a good day. Really just gave me a hint or an idea that there were probably going to be a lot of fish up on bed in the tract. So really the hint was I really needed to focus on fishing spawning areas, probably slowing down a little bit, picking areas apart. And that's essentially what happened today. Got out on the water, 60-degree water temp. I still entertained some moving stuff. I think I mixed in the spinner bait, the buzz bait, threw the jig a little bit, but you know, when the fish are spawning out on the Delta, or really anywhere for that matter, I feel like more often than not, when you're throwing those moving baits, you're throwing the big stuff, you just are missing fish. You're not catching all the fish you could be, and you just need to slow down with the little worms and finesse, pick areas apart, because that is the best way to catch fish of any size, really, when they're spawning. So I mixed in the drop shot a little bit, and then of course the Wacky General, but the Wacky General was definitely the winning bait today. We did have an incoming tide all of our fishing day today. It started out kind of low, so as I mentioned, I was kind of just dinking around a few areas near the launch where I didn't really have any high hopes or expectations of, but really I was saving my better areas, or the areas that I really wanted to fish later on in the day when the water would be higher, the tide was up. So anything really before 12 o'clock I figured was a bonus. And really the story, probably the first few hours of the day, was covering water, throwing that Wacky Worm up in areas that they should be spawning, whether that was an isolated tule patch up against the bank, a line of primrose, and then of course we needed to mix in the hard bottom. But I had little stretches where I'd catch a few, which I'm sure all of them were on bed, just couldn't see them, and then I'd go long periods or long stretches without a bite. But again, covering enough water, you eventually run into those right stretches and you get bit, and then you just slow down. The bite did seem to die a little bit around, I want to say 1:30, 2 o'clock, so I did make another run out to the main tract, inside of it of course, continued throwing that bait right around areas they should be spawning, and I did get a few good bites. Now it is a little bit risky fishing this way, especially when you're up in the tules, up in the junk. You hook a big one and it can really wrap you up so quickly. Luckily our big fish of the day did actually get us hung up on a tule. Somehow it stayed pinned and we got that fish out of there, so that was a little bit of good fortune. Of course we missed some fish, we lost some fish here and there, but had a consistent bite for the second half of the day. Felt like I was getting bit every 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes they were small, sometimes they were decent, but just a really good bite. Kept that in my hand all day. I didn't see any reason to throw anything else. Catching numbers, kind of what I've been lacking out on the Delta. I'm just happy if I catch 3 to 5 fish out on the Delta in the kayak this year, but today we actually put some numbers in the boat. Just had a lot of fun setting back on some bass. Anyways, as always guys, I thank you for watching, for coming along, and I will see you guys in the next one.